Okay, it's 6 p.m. I call this meeting of the Water Commission for Tuesday, September 16th to order at 6 o'clock. I see that all is present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Item 3 is a citizen comment period. I don't believe we had any citizens for comment. Do we have anything, Marissa, in writing?
No, we did not.
Okay, thank you. Item 4, the business items. A1, approval of minutes. Does anyone have any corrections to the minutes as provided in your packet? Okay, if not, may I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Please. Okay. All in favor, please indicate by aye. Opposed? Thank you. Stephen, we're ready for a Utility Department monthly activity report. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the month of August, we pumped 50.35 acre-feet out of the Edwards with a year-to-date total of 170.85 with 313 available. Edwards is currently in stage 4. We are still in stage 2 water restrictions. All water distribution samples for the month passed. Water loss was 3.8% for the month. Water Department, Utilities Department completed 316 work orders, 37 locates. Total portal customers was 927, up from July. Meter daily readability percentage was 99.35% for 1,689 assigned meters. No main breaks or leaks were reported. No leak adjustments to process yet.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for Stephen?
You guys do a real good job on the your leakage, but 3.8 do we have a break somewhere? Because that's you're doing such a great job, and all of a sudden just kind of out of the blue.
Well, we did a little bit of extra flushing for when they did the final tie-in at 2252 and 3009 because we had a large area turned off. No customers were out of water, but for that large area, we did a little bit extra flushing. So we might have actually not accounted for all of it because it was a large line.
Did August include that large break that happened during construction?
No, it was the month before.
Okay, because I was going to say July was, I thought so too, and July is low, so, okay, understood. 7 new people on the portal, that's good. It just slowly creeps up. Any comments, observations, Michelle, on people's interest in the portal or how they're using it? Are you getting feedback on that?
So I do get some feedback here lately from customers who have actually been able to find their leaks or track their leaks and have let me know that they were logged in and viewing them, which was excellent. I love that. But it's only been a handful, just here recently. But yeah, definitely we encourage it as soon as we get a new customer. We talk about it on the phone if they have a question. So we're always encouraging it, the usage.
Great, thank you.
What percentage are you at right now, overall?
Actually, I would have to go back and look at that, what the customer total is versus, but I know that we're well above where the standard is.
Yeah, Steve is calculating 927 by 1701. Oh. Oh, right.
54.55%.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 55%.
And when we first started talking about it, I mean, really going back a couple of years, that was down in the low 40s, as I remember.
Yeah, I think even when Jesse was around, it was like in the 35, 38, somewhere around there.
Excellent,
Yes.
great. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Item 2, items applicable to the Water Commission that were discussed at the recent city council meetings. From the September 3rd meeting, the city has started the process of codifying all our city ordinances. This will put it into a searchable database, among other things. And this is including having an outside attorney reviewing ordinances for consistency and duplication. And this is some of the stuff that's come up as we've looked at our revisions to the 2 ordinances that we've been working on. So it's a work in process. I suspect there'll be more information on that coming, but that's great. The City Council approved the reappointment of Commissioners Carmichael and Harshbarger, and specifically the council recognized Kevin's contribution and time on the commission. Very nice. Not discussed, but it came up in a conversation I had with the city manager this afternoon, and it is a public announcement that the City of Garden Ridge and SAWS have signed an agreement allowing us to move forward with the engineering and really contracting work now to do the Vista Ridge tie-in, as it's been talked about. There'll be more information coming about that. I received the information in an email. I assume it's probably posted on the Garden Ridge website, isn't it?
We did. I know we did social media post about
Okay.
it when Mayor Swint went and spoke at the meeting that SAWS approved the agreement at. And then when we get any additional information, we'll continue to update that.
Okay. So it's really, it's moved to the approval of the connection on an emergency basis. And so now it's going back to Tri-Hydro to really start doing the detailed engineering work. The item, if there's nothing else, there's really nothing else there. Item 3, wastewater ordinance. The background for this, as we have talked, is that the city should have an ordinance in this area to regulate how customers connect to the installed line. In some discussions with Ryan, and I think this even came up somewhat in the last meeting, recommended that we look at Schertz ordinance for 2 reasons. One, Schertz will be the connection point for our system, and Schertz also sends its wastewater to the Cibolo Creek Municipal Authority, which is a processing plant, a large one that handles Cibolo, Schertz, the Air Force Base, Live Oak, and a couple of other communities. So to some degree, we're all just feeders into this. Ryan couldn't make it tonight, but before the meeting, he briefed me, and what he has asked is that Tri-Hydro begin drafting an ordinance that probably should be ready for at least discussion, if not formal review, in our November meeting, which will be our next regularly scheduled meeting. And it'll be along the lines of looking at the Schertz ordinance, looking at our system, and using their expertise and resource to give us a framework to start working on. That's really all I have to offer on that at this point. I know it was an agenda item for you, Dr. Carmichael, and others who are interested. Any questions or discussion at this point?
I guess just a clarification. I remember when we did the tour, Stephen pointed it out a little bit, but this is mainly for 2B commercial use, right? We're kind of on 2252. There's like a sub-site kind of thing by the railroad tracks, right? And that's where it starts to connect, but it hasn't really been used yet, from what I understand.
That's correct. There's a line that's laid in general along 2252. Stephen, you can update us a little bit on that, but to this point, nobody's connected, and right now it goes into just a collection reservoir. Is that the right way to put it, Stephen?
Correct. It basically runs up 2252, starting a little bit past Forest to Garden Ridge on Tonquah Pass, goes all the way down to Nacogdoches Loop where it crosses over, then runs down Nacogdoches Loop, down Door Lane, and then from Door Lane it runs parallel with the railroad tracks to the 3009 bridge, and slightly goes past that. And there's a 18,000 gallon, tank on or Naca Loop right at the corner.
And there is.
So,
I'm sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
so,
Yeah.
it's like the pickleball place that may be coming, I
That's
don't
what I
know
was
what's going
gonna
on
say.
there, right? That's not, it's not routed right there then, right? They would
Right
have
there
to-
where they're looking at that revival or that place right there.
Is that,
They would have to get easement to connect over onto Nacogdoches Loop.
yeah, just curious.
That's what's sort of bringing us into focus, is that it's more than just an academic exercise, but the revival will be the first connection to this, so there needs to be a process in place so that they know what to expect. There's impact fees associated with that, as well as regulation on their operation of wastewater disposal. So that's the latest. So I think by November, we should be able to get some input from Tri-Hydro on this.
And it just stops at that tank by the tracks, or it's already tied into the shirt stuff?
It stops right there. Whenever it gets to a certain height in that tank, then the alarm will go off,
And
kind of
they
like a
have to come suck
SCADA,
that.
and then it would have to contract someone to come haul it off.
Okay, so it'd be quite the effort to connect it to shirts?
Yes.
Apparently, Schertz is also extending their system. The city manager briefed me that they're looking at a capital project that moves their current lines up Lookout Road, I think probably up Door Lane, so it's like we're reaching out to each other. So I guess once there's enough businesses connected to this, then we need to know more than just put it in a tank and pump it out, but it'll need to be connected.
Yeah, 'cause there's the commercial spots right behind that, right, like the Napa, I think it is, and some other buildings there, so it's not too far.
Yes, it's pretty close.
Yeah, just an easement through that private lot, I guess. Okay.
Okay, any other questions, comments on this? Okay, thanks, Stephen. So this is moving on to item C, recommendations. Ordinance 61, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Ridge, Texas, establishing the drought management plan for the City of Garden Ridge, establishing trigger conditions and demand reduction measures, providing a variance procedure, providing a penalty for violations of this ordinance, providing a cumulative and savings clause, providing for severability, and declaring an effective date. So at this point, I would like to open this for a public hearing. I don't see anybody present. Marissa, do we have any written comments?
No, we did not receive any written comments.
Okay. At this point, I declare the public hearing closed. That would have been item 1. Item 2 is to discuss and make a recommendation to the city council, which has been our goal here. A bit about timing before we get into this. We're not meeting in October. I think that's due to a conflict with elections, so we're next meeting in November. So as we go through these, I would like, as a goal, to absorb any final comments and then move this forward as a recommendation to city council. And what I would suggest is that any comments that we should agree pretty clearly on the wording, I'll incorporate those, and then they would be in what would be presented to city council. They, of course, then will do their own work on it, perhaps creating additional comments. But that's what I would like to suggest. So, stepping back to ordinance 61, I sent you a marked draft. This would have been a couple weeks ago, that I hopefully captured the comments that you passed on to me in writing and also from the last meeting, and just want to go through those and see if there's any final input. I know, Stephen, you had something you had wanted to mention to me, so let just whoever would like to start.
On restricted use of water portion on page 6, section 3, demand reduction measures. Upon declaration of a drought stage by the city of Gardner, the sale of water to a temporary service customer for outside use of the city shall be prohibited. The sale of water to a temporary service customer for use within the city up to 50,000 gallons shall be at the discretion of the Public Works Director. This provision may not be used to fill swimming pools in a drought stage 3 or 5. So, to be clear, it'd be, because we have an ETJ and a CCN. Our CCN will go outside of our ETJ. So we'd like to kind of get some clarification on selling to outside of ETJ, but in our CCN. We actually have a contractor that wants to furnish water in our CCN, but it's slightly outside our city limits. So maybe have some sort of definition of outside the city limits, so to be clear.
So to clarify, it's clear what it says, sales outside the city. Your question is that city boundaries, or is that the additional service areas that are outside city boundaries that we currently supply? And this contractor is working on a property that is within the CCN, but it's outside city limits.
Correct.
That's correct. Those of you who've been on the council longer, has there ever been a discussion about what, it's a fair point as to what, is this city or is it the total customer base that we supply to?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, to my recollection, it's come up in two contexts, but the most common context is in the rate process, and then it's been city limits. So outside city limits, they pay the higher rate because we don't provide service outside the CCN.
Right.
In this case, though, and Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, but the CCN sort of implies that we will provide service. I mean, we have a responsibility to do that. So for this particular ordinance, it should probably say outside of the city or at CCN. I don't think it would be right to deny those folks
Yeah.
service.
What does CCN stand for?
Certificate of Convenience and Necessity.
Okay.
And we are required to provide service to people in our CCN.
Okay. So as a matter of point, this is something that probably ought to be modified in this to say outside of the city or its certificate of CCN, certificate of convenience and necessity. Words
Yes.
like that, would that be? Okay. That also
That'd clarify it.
okay. So if that's the case, then in this particular circumstance, just trying it out, this would be a temporary service customer, possibly.
Yes, it'd be a hydrant meter for construction.
Okay. And then the way this ordinance reads, it would be, I can't remember what the current ordinance says, but I think gosh, I don't have the original ordinance. Are you, under the current ordinance, it just says city, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So technically, right now, your hands are tied based on the definition of city.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'll incorporate that change. One, it makes sense, and two, it meets what we're bound to do under the CCN. I don't know that it solves your immediate problem. Ryan and I were talking about that a little bit, whether you would come forward with a variance at this point, but then there's a timing problem depending on when they want to start construction.
Yeah, I was gonna reach out to them and let them know that we're working on it, but until it's clarified and straightened out that they could get from a different source.
Yeah.
And then, once they get it straightened out, then we could provide them.
Okay. Excuse me.
Mr. Chairman, you might just, I mean, the attorney probably needs to take a look at the wording, but it might, something like the sale of water to a temporary service customer for use not within the city or its CCN boundaries is prohibited. Instead of saying outside of, just say use not within. I'm concerned about having an or in there, the city or its CCN, but
Okay. Could I request that you
Yeah.
work on those words and then pass them on to me, and I'll certainly concur to adding them. That way I'm not busy transcribing here while we got going on. Commissioners, any other comments on 61? Hopefully I captured, the comments that you had from the last meeting, didn't make any additions of my own. Okay? If that concludes our discussion, I would request a motion to a recommendation of ordinance 61 to the city council.
There's a recommendation to forward the package to the city council.
Does that capture enough words for you, Michelle or Marissa?
Just to make sure everyone's on the same page, can you add in there, with the amendment that was discussed this evening?
With the amendment that was discussed this evening.
Okay. Thank you. I was going to add that in the discussion, but good. Okay.
second.
Thank you. Okay. Any further discussion? Place it for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Item number 2, ordinance 59, a similar process. Hopefully I captured all of your comments correctly. I did add a few things, I think, in the area of the definition of xeriscape. There was a question of, is there a sufficient enough definition? And I went back through that and opted to add this sentence about further guidance and examples of xeriscape landscaping can be found at the resources that I've cited, which are 2 real credible resources. I went and looked at them, and there's good information. So at this point, any comments, questions, or discussions on 159? Just as an additional comment, I know there was this question of repairing a minor amount of turf versus a much larger replacement that would trigger things like putting the adequate topsoil underneath, using only the varieties of grass that are listed. I chose 1 pallet, and I went online and looked, and a pallet is typically 400 to 500 square feet. I know in a lot of experience I've seen in my own, you buy a pallet to do spot patching. Much beyond that, you're into a much bigger project. So is it arbitrary? Somewhat, but there is at least a quantifiable basis. Okay.
I think that's a good solution. I
Okay.
mean, like you said, there's nothing that's going to be perfect, but it
Yeah.
does provide something that people can easily reference.
Yeah, at least to push against. Okay. If there's no further discussion, I request a motion that we recommend to the city council adoption of the revisions to ordinance 159.
Mr. Chair, I move that we recommend to City Council that they adopt the revisions to ordinance number 159 as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any final discussion? All in favor, please vote.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you. And I just want to say I appreciate all your efforts and review on this and so on. In hindsight, probably could have shortened it by about a month, so it was a learning experience for me how to plow through this a little bit more quickly. But it'll be on its way, and I'll make sure it's presented. In the format, it'll be presented to the city council with the changes to 61. I'll also have a forwarding sheet that has a summation of the major changes to it, similar to what was preparing for the public hearing. Okay. Item number 3, ordinance 210-102022, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Ridge, Texas, adopting board and commission policies and procedures, providing a cumulative and savings clause, providing for severability, and declaring an effective date. This is regarding item 1, appointment of the Water Commission Chair and Vice Chair for a period of one-year term effective 2025. And so really at this point, I'll ask if there's any volunteers for these positions. I will state that I'm willing to serve an additional year.
I'll
Chairman
continue as
Dorsey?
well, unless
Great.
anyone else wants to.
Great, okay. So nobody else?
Is there a
We didn't
reason
step back fast enough.
Is there a reason it's 1 year instead of aligning with like your term or something? Just curious.
So we just typically do it the same way that we do Mayor Pro Tem, which is spelled out in the city charter. It's just elected every year for a one-year term right after the election, just because you never know when the person in the position is going to change, when that place is up. And so we've just standardized the chair and the vice chair to be done consistently the month after any reappointments are done. So it's just a one-year term. But there's no limit on how many terms you can have as a commissioner or as chair or vice chair.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Thank you. At this point, I request a motion to recommend to the City Council the appointment of myself, William Pohl, as Commission Chair, and Nathan Dorsey as Vice Chair for a one-year term effective October 2025.
Just to
I don't-
clarify,
yeah.
this actually doesn't go to council. This is a commission decision. So the motion
Thank
would
you.
just be to appoint Commissioner Pohl as chair and Commissioner Dorsey as vice chair. And you can do it all in one motion.
Okay.
I make a motion that we appoint Commissioner Pohl as chair and Commissioner Dorsey as vice chair, each for one-year terms beginning October 2025.
Second, with gratitude.
Please, can we have some discussion? If there is no discussion, call it for a vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Thank you, thank you. Okay, item D, future agenda items. Starting on my left, again, I remind you, this is, it's not a discussion, just a listing of things that you would like to see on what will be the November agenda. Okay.
So, I guess you glanced over this way. And I don't, up to you guys what you think, but Tri-Hydra's gonna be really busy, it sounds like. Still waiting on the master plan to get presented. I don't know where that's at.
Okay.
And with the, well, we can't talk about what it is, but anyway, the water master plan and future infrastructure requirements.
So, to have the agenda reflect that we'd like an update on that? Because it's likely that the Tri-Hydro Hank will be here at the November meeting to talk about wastewater disposal.
Yeah, an update would be great, but at least have it on the agenda as a status item until.
Okay.
I mean, there hasn't been movement for quite some time.
Right, okay,
Well, movement here. I know they're working, it's just we haven't got it.
okay. So the specific wording is a water master plan. Okay. Okay.
So I'll add just a continued discussion on the wastewater. I think in 2 months, we should probably have an update on what's going on there.
Right.
So if we can get some kind of official update and then maybe a plan on how we want to go about that.
Okay, good. Any other items? Okay, thank you. Item 5, citizen comment period. If we have nobody here to comment, move item 6, adjournment. That concludes all the items on the agenda. The meeting is concluded, is adjourned at 6:30. Thank you.